Let's switch now the guns to the national carrier.
Yes.
Uganda Airlines was the CEO, Bamuturaki, was before COSASE. That's the Committee on State Enterprises in Parliament. And why was she before COSASE? Not the appointments committee like she was last time, but now it was to discuss the state of affairs of the Uganda Airline. Now, the national carrier is reported to be in a deficit of 237 billion Uganda shillings. And in her report before the committee...
Is in the financial year?
Yes.
Yes.
So in her report before the committee, she said that those losses are, one, because of the repair costs. And she finally confessed that they bought old bombardier carriers. And she blamed the previous administration and workers, who said most of them, even some have left the country. I think also the staff said that the staff is a little bit, the payment to staff takes a big portion of it. She also blamed the cost of repairs, really, and that they are limited in operation because they only do cargo and passengers, and they would like to diversify. And that's how things are at Uganda Airlines.
Well, I think that from the region, to be fair, we've seen, just taking it by the region, when you look at KQ, when you look at Rwanda Air, apart from, of course, the Ethiopian thing, I think that most of the national carriers are
operating in a deficit.
That's
not where the news is.
Yeah, the news is. But the news is, how are you trying to bridge the gap? You know? What is the contribution? You know, for example, Rwanda, the way it has strategically positioned themselves on the world scene is that even though the national carrier may not be making profit, but they are carrying people, bringing them in, because it has advertised itself as a tourism spot,
destination,
visit Rwanda.
That's true.
So they may compensate that kind of money, you know, by as a fixed gaps in the national carrier to make profit, to turn a leaf, or to just, you know, minimize the losses. They are benefiting from the extension of what they bring in into the economy.
I get you.
You know, but you see, our problem is that we are not seemingly fixing the gap, you know, from administration, you know. Last time there were questions about how the leadership
the appointment,
and then we saw the hobnobbing with the speaker and everything. We saw reports being blocked from COSASE. I think Joel Sengin was working on one such report.
That's true.
Which we never got, because then it was released without the, you know, that kind of thing. And there I mean, we are not blind. We have ears, but, you know, the public, they are not goats. They can see that clearly someone is trying to frustrate a due process, you know. And in so many ways, you know, we don't seem like we are moving to, like, no head is turning because they bought all bombardiers.
There's an interesting story that I read, and I thought this was a repeat of the same story. Before Uganda Airlines sank, the old Uganda Airlines, there's a very funny story that in 1986, there was a general manager called, I think it was called Dr. Ochola Olatigo. So that guy was the general manager of Uganda Airlines. What he did, it's one of the biggest corruption scandals that if I tell you, you think it's a movie. That guy ordered a plane that was already en route with 20 passengers on board, having left Entebbe Airport 30 minutes to come back and pick him.
Wow.
So you guys have left me.
Was that pre-26th January or post?
It should be on... there's a date because it's a very common case. It was on the 2nd February, 1986.
So that was post.
Yes, because I think they came in Jan.
Yes.
And he was actually charged in the Museveni government. But for him, it was that a dead system that a general manager can call a pilot and say, turn back. Of
course, the system is really in the Obote 2 regime, especially all the way from Amin, had been really dead, clogged and personalized. Or a joke and the coffee thing for the people in coffee, no.
It was arrogant corruption.
It was blunt and arrogant and I will show you my power kind of thing.
Do what you want to do.
Of I can stop the plane and it comes back. It could be like a joke of friends. A guy just reverses this and it turns. But in 2025, really trying to move forward, trying to see how best can we consolidate. What can the courier add to us? So many teams have been arriving for Chan.
For Chan, yes.
And the
AFCON is coming in 2027.
It's coming up in a few months actually from now. We should be positioning the national carrier to be, an official partner, bring in teams, something like that.
And it's really disappointing that when you are celebrating news that the national carrier now has a direct trip to London.
Yes, exactly.
It's opening channels in India and in China, and you still get these kinds of hope breakers, if I would call that.
A route to London is a good route, but you have to be consistent. You're dealing with people who cannot miss a flight for 2 days, who cannot be delayed, for 24 hours.
And one of the biggest budget expenses for Uganda Airlines is legal expenses for people who are claiming lost luggage.
You see? So I think it's just a regional thing because KQ has
so many. Because Kosasi's complaint was, how are we getting to even court when you can solve some of these issues? Because you would save at least the legal costs if you know you've lost someone's luggage. Okay, let's the first question. Why are you losing people's luggage?
Exactly.
One, why is it the order of the day? But two, why are you waiting for the matter to go to court before you solve it?
But I think, Harold, as many things in Uganda, it's a crisis of leadership. Because I don't know if there is will. Because we have a good example here in Ethiopia that we could benchmark and say, how do they handle luggage? How do they handle bookings? How do they handle this? How do they turn a profit? It's basically by sorting out. A friend of mine, I think you know him also, he now has to first call one of our friends in Uganda. I say, guys, are you sure this flight is not going to be delayed?
Wow.
And it's like, we'll see how it goes.
I get you. There's no certainty.
Because sometimes he can live here. He has a conference in South Africa and he must arrive in time because of how he has left here. But then if he's delayed for 24 hours, for what? He ends up missing. Now, next time, if there is a way he can come with Ethiopian Airlines, then it drops him somewhere and, he connects. He's not going to take...
It's a more secure...
Yes.
Though inconveniencing, but it's a more secure...
It's more reliable.
And just this is a national bad that should ease things around.
I think that if we have the spirit or the will to say, let things change, things can actually change.
Tell me one thing about the government that is working perfectly.
And you see that's the problem, is that you have to first think and say, okay, well, driving permit.
Like
a very flimsy thing. Like you can't point to it, but there's so many. There are quite a number of things that.
I think that driving permit thing that you thought about is perfect.
Wake up in the morning and put in a good shift, and they're frustrated at different levels.
I get you.
And trying to work for this country. There are so many people righteous, putting in a shift
with goodwill. Yes,
but
even with limited resources.
I
think our nurses and doctors are doing a wonderful job under very difficult circumstances.
But where there is a will, like they say, there must be a way. So where things are trying to go bad and are going bad, especially consistently for so many years, someone must ask if there's really, really will to get things done.